Qi is the life force energy that emanates from all living things. Everything is an expression of Qi. In fact, everything you see or don't see is actually an expression of Qi. That's pretty deep. So the non-existence, or what appears to be non-exert, so the apparent and non-apparent, or also referred to as the unmanifest, is actually an expression of Qi too, which is the center of space. So the center of space and time itself is an expression of Qi. So Qigong is a 5,000-year-old practice that harnesses or teaches the practitioner tools in order to harness this life force energy, and in this case to understand their connection with their internal organs and their emotions, as well as their outside environment.
The difference between medical Qigong and Qigong self-regulation classes is that Qigong self-regulation classes is the foundation to be able to do medical Qigong. The main difference is that the self-regulation practices like that we have on our YouTube channel are all meant for you to be able to work on yourself medicinally, and in particular really work on the mental emotional state, which is the foundation of death and disease according to Chinese medicine. The medical Qigong is actually the foundation of acupuncture, where we apply the theories of traditional Chinese medicine, understanding the disease process. We look at organ pathology and channel pathology, and understanding this, and then through the many different assessment systems that we have in medical Qigong and in acupuncture, that we apply that in order to help to transform the disease or illness. Whereas the Qigong practices that are on my Qigong or my YouTube channel are meant for you to empower yourself to be able to not only to improve your health, but also to help to prevent disease.
Something as simple as taking one conscious breath is all it takes, because breath is your Qi, and everything around you is an expression of Qi, whether you can see it or not see it. So the tangible and intangible is all an expression of Qi. So start off with one conscious breath. Think of Qi in this term as the energies as far as blood goes, and Gong is the skill, which is the skill or the practice to be able to harness this life force energy. In this case, to help to improve your health medicinally inside the body. Because Qigong is actually the foundation of acupuncture in Chinese medicine, and also the foundation of Tai Chi. And most people hear Tai Chi and know that it's martial art and these kinds of things, but the reality is that Qigong is a simple practice with profound results. And in particular, what it's meant to harness is to be able to give people tools to deal with emotional stress. Because the leading cause of death and disease is actually negative emotions. And it's not that emotions are bad, but it's when you hold on to something like anger or resentment, for example, that shows up as disease. When I talk about disease, migraines, menstrual irregularities, digestive issues, depression actually is the dangerous term. So these simple practices help to empower people to not only deal with the stress of day to day, but also what's happening. You know what? There's actually 3 schools of Qigong. There's the medical school, which consists of Qigong, the practice itself for your own self-cultivation, and acupuncture, which Qigong is the basis of acupuncture in Chinese medicine, as well as then the martial arts school, which is any form of internal martial arts like Tai Chi, Xingyi, Bagua, Yichuan, etc. And then the spiritual school is not necessarily an ism or anything like that. It's the understanding that you are to refine and cultivate and preserve this life force energy, or Qi, which is the foundation of Qigong, in order to help you transform yourself spiritually. The difference that it makes according to your 5-element body typology, which is different than an Enneagram that talks about your personality typology. The 5-element typology does talk about your personality, but according to what organ actually governs you. So for example, I'm a wood type, which means my liver and gallbladder governs me. When I'm in balance, wood people are really great business owners. They're managers, police officers, military leaders, because the negative emotion that actually affects the liver is anger, frustration, and resentment. When anger, though, is harnessed in the right direction, then it's used for creativity. And so that's how wood types, for example, are actually great leaders or great managers. You know, fire types, for example, which means that the heart connects to them, or they're expressed through their hearts. Those people express through love and through openness and through sharing and through compassion and giving. Now, what's interesting about knowing your 5-element typology is the deviation from that typology that indicates disease. That's the important thing. And not only about the 5 elements about your typology, but then also the 5 seasons also relate back too. So during certain times of the year, like we're coming out of summer, where the heart is most prone to disease. So you actually, if you went to the Center of Disease Control website, you actually see the most heart attacks happen in the summer months. Well, what kind of fruits and vegetables are in your farm to market? Well, watermelon, cherries, those types of things. Right now we're getting peaches and such. And the reason why is because energetically, watermelon is meant to help to cool down the heart. Watermelon's not meant to be eaten in the winter months. So we have genetically modified foods, or foods that are grown outside of their season. Now, true, if you have a strong constitution, chances of it affecting you are probably small.
Yeah.
But over the long term, and if your constitution weakens, then what happens is that eating foods out of season or eating foods that are not beneficial for your element typology, or I like also to say your constitutional typology, then that will indicate disease. So the whole thing here about understanding the 5 elements and how Qigong applies to that is understanding how your body really functions, and understanding how the seasons affect you, like I said, how different foods affect you, because some diets may be good for some people, like the cold raw diet may be good for some people, but for some people it creates disease. Teachertraining.com is that it's interactive, it's online. So level 1 is 13 weeks. And at the end of the 13 weeks that we meet for a weekend workshop, and what's cool about it is that because it is interactive and online, then we could actually, if you can't fly in to either Los Angeles or in San Jose where we host the weekend workshops, then you could actually tune in via Zoom. But what's cool is that it's like a community. So there's a forum, and each week there's 4 videos that are downloaded. It corresponds with my book, and we don't just want people to learn Qigong just because it feels good. Relaxation is just a byproduct. What we want to do is really to empower people, so then that way they can go into their communities and begin to teach this to other people. In conclusion, what is Qigong? It's a simple practice with profound results. And what's really groovy about it is that anybody could do it, and especially people that are kind of deficient or weak, or let's say they're going through some health issues. It's something that they can do from a seated position or even a lying down position. But what I love about Qigong is that it's such a all-encompassing practice. You don't need a mat, you don't need special clothing, you can wear whatever, you can do it indoors, you can do it outdoors. And the whole idea of Qigong is to empower people to be able to deal with stress and emotional trauma from the past, and be able to rectify those emotional imbalances in the body, which creates disease. The other thing about it too is that it gets you in tune with your nature, your body. It'll get you in tune to where you could actually feel disease. The Yellow Emperor's Classic of Difficulties says it best. It says, to prevent disease after disease sets in is like digging a well after one has become thirsty, or forging one's weapons after one is engaged in battle. Wouldn't that be too late? So the cool thing is that it's all about preventative, but if you already have something going on, you become your own superior doctor, meaning that you become so aware of your body and your connection to your environment and other people around you that you will start to feel when something is out of balance or if disease is setting in. In particular, if one of these organs gets out of balance, you actually will be able to feel, especially if you do that center and balance meditation that I teach, that's on iTunes and on Google Play. If you do that meditation every single day, eventually, you'll be able to just concentrate for a second and be able to feel anywhere inside your body. Well, that same idea where you could feel anywhere inside your body, guess what? Your body will then talk to you and tell you and inform you when something is going wrong. And that's where you will utilize these practices like the 5 organ cleansing exercises, the white pearl meditation, for example, the microcosmic orbit meditation, or brushing the acupuncture meridians. So these are all designed to help you achieve health and balance in your life, but also on a deeper level, as you let go of the baggage, as you let go of the coarse vibration which most people walk around with, because our egos tend to govern us, most of us anyways. Actually develop yourself spiritually as well too, and it doesn't matter what religion you study or practice or spiritual tradition you practice. As you let go of this coarse vibration, your vibration increases, and then guess what? Your communication with God increases, or this all-knowingness increases, and guess what else happens? Besides your health improving and this communication with God, you also, the vibration of the friends and the family members that you surround yourself with, if they're of a lower vibration, guess what? Naturally, they start to fall off, or naturally you'll find that you have nothing in common, and that's actually a good thing. Find people of the same vibration, find people that are going to uplift you as opposed to suppress you and push you down. And by doing these simple practices, believe it or not, as simple as they may be, all of this can be attained and ultimately have a fulfilled life and free of pain. Chris Shelton coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Until next time, I will see you later.